It's Wednesday, the 27th day of August 2025. In 6 days, the people of Akwatia would go to the polls to choose a new member of parliament following the death of their member of parliament. A by-election that is coming up is a two-horse race between the NDC and the NPP. Yesterday on the show, we brought you information that the other candidate in the contest, the LPG, the other party, rather, the LPG had withdrawn from the race. Tonight we are hearing that the candidate of the LPG has insisted that he's still in the race. We'll wait to see what the official ballots of the Electoral Commission would look like, whether it will have 3 persons on it or 2 persons. Regardless of what happens, 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 Television is a platform you should follow. This special program is called Akwatia Watch. I am Umaru Sanda, and I'll be introducing the topic for discussion today when I come back, plus the people who will be helping me for the conversation.
This August, get ready for an unforgettable night of worship and celebration as Perez Music presents Glorified, dubbed His Love and Kindness. Ministering live, Perez Music alongside the legendary Daughters of Glorious Jesus. Also ministering Joyful Way Incorporated, Minister Gabby Akwatia and Edom Evangelist. Join us on Sunday, the 31st of August, 2025 at 4 p.m. sharp at the Victory Bible Church, Awoshi Dominion Sanctuary for an evening of powerful ministry and praise. It's absolutely free. But if you would like to support this ministry, you can do so by purchasing our special event merchandise or call 0557 116 607. That is 0557 116 607. Let's come together and raise a sound of gratitude for God's love and kindness. It's going to be nothing short of heaven on earth. This event is proudly sponsored by Eddie Spitzer and powered by Rima City of Worship. Media partners City FM and Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome back. This is Channel 1 Television. This is also 97.3 City FM. This show is called Akwatia Watch. I'm Umaru Sanda. In studio with me, Fred Tetejabano, my producer and my colleague, who is also head of news, current affairs production here at City FM and Channel 1 Television. Fredo, how is it going?
I'm well.
Everything fine?
By God's grace, we are surviving.
Are we ready for Akwatia, for our viewers and our listeners?
Oh yes, we are ready. I mean, we put everything in place to ensure that on the 2nd of September, our listeners and viewers, both on CTFM and Channel 1 TV, will be brought the best coverage, would give them every detail of what is happening in Akwatia. From the very start at 6 a.m., we are going to bring to our viewers and our listeners every detail of what is taking place in Akwatia on the 2nd. That's next week, Tuesday. As you know, we also are updating our viewers and listeners on the happenings in Akwatia even before the elections. From Monday, we've been having conversations on various issues regarding Akwatia on this Akwatia Watch show. This will continue till the very day, and our viewers and listeners should stick with us, because we are not going to stop till the last vote is counted and the Electoral Commission declares a winner for that particular election.
Indeed, and also on our social media platforms and on our news website, we have everything that you need to know. So we have so far given you an area or bird's eye view or snapshot of the constituency, what kind of people live there, what kind of businesses they engage in, which constituencies border that particular Akwatia constituency. We've told you about that. We have also, yesterday, taken time to tell you about the candidates who are in this particular race. Today, our focus is on people who have been MPs in that constituency before, and what their contributions have been, what their roles have been, and what their current role would be. We'll talk about that. But before then, by way of update, the New Patriotic Party, which until recently held that seat, having won it in 2024, albeit having been going to court to challenge that after the NDC went to court. That party called the press today, invited the press to give updates and raise some concerns about the by-election schedule for September 2. The party's director for communication, Richard Ahiagba, said that there are some occurrences leading up to the by-election in Akwatia that doesn't look good for them, and they were raising concerns about that. Let's watch briefly and listen to what Richard Ahiagba had to say. We'll comment on that, and then we'll go into the former MPs for Akwatia.
The New Patriotic Party has very reliable information and intelligence that the NDC intends to hide behind the guise of national security to terrorize some residents and voters in Akwatia and during the by-election. It is instructive to note that the police administration has indicated their deployment of 5,000 service men for the Akwatia by-election. Despite the IGP's unequivocal assurance that the Ghana Police Service does not need any military support to maintain law and order, the famous Richard Jakpa, my namesake, who has been appointed as the Director of Operation at the National Security, has been seen preambulating the Akwatia constituency with soldiers and reportedly threatening some indigents and residents to leave town before the by-election in their own interest. Upon the assurance of the IGP, we want to make it abundantly clear that any soldier involved in the Akwatia by-election will be considered and dealt with as a thug, or in a manner as a thug. We therefore call on the President, who is the Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, and in whose responsibility, and on whose shoulder the responsibility of the security of the state rests, to call Richard Jakpa to order and ensure that no soldier meddles in the Akwatia by-election.
So that's Richard Ahiagba talking about his namesake, Richard Jakpa, and other issues related to the Akwatia by-election. So, Fred, the MPP is saying what? The militarization of the by-election is not something they're going to
Yes, they are going to accept on Tuesday. They are raising concerns generally on issues of security. According to them, there was a picture around social media yesterday where Richard Jakpa, who is now with the National Security Secretariat, I think he's Director of Operations, was captured at one of the areas with a military man fully armed in Akwatia. So I think the MPP have been alarmed by that particular picture. Looking at what transpired in Ablekuma North, they are warning that they are not going to accept anything of the sort. And you know, if it comes to election security, for the last election, when it was made clear that there will be no military personnel seen or involved in election security until they are called in by the IGP, who is the chair of the Election Security Committee. So you'd recall that in the 2024 elections, unlike 2020 where you saw military people around, in 2024 you hardly saw military personnel within areas where the voting and counting was taking place. The MPP is warning that it should remain the same. They are not expecting to see military people at Akwatia who will be on duty for security. According to them, they are picking up information that the government or the security apparatus is planning on sending military men to the place. That is why Richard Jakpa had been seen in the area trying to do his own recce. But now they claim that looking at what is happening, it may repeat itself, something may repeat itself, maybe the 2020 occurrence when they were in power, where you saw military may repeat itself, and they are warning that the status quo should remain. The status quo from 2024 should remain, where no military personnel would be allowed or should be allowed within the voting areas.
I mean, the now late Dr. Dodomani Boam, I remember, had made a directive, issued a statement saying that there were not going to be soldiers at the Ablekuma North election rerun. And true to his word, that did not happen. So we did not see soldiers. At least we didn't see them in uniform. Yeah. In fact, even the police who were there were not armed, or at least a lot of them were not armed. Now, the management of election security is in the hands of the Inspector General of Police. The oversight responsibility being the Minister for the Interior, who is in charge of the police, and soldiers are under the Minister for Defense. What we have seen in the past have not been good, where the police were involved in the 2020 elections especially. And I think as a nation, we have sort of agreed that let's move away from having soldiers at our voting grounds. We must by all means have soldiers as a standby force, and they will be called when the police believe they are overwhelmed or cannot deal with the issue. So that shouldn't be a problem. We can have soldiers at the barracks in Koforidua who are on standby. When they are needed, they'll be invited to Akwatia, or they could be put somewhere else close by in case they are needed. But I do not think that we should be going into elections even thinking of that. It should be a preemptive measure that we should put up. But I don't think it should get to a place where we are thinking of bringing soldiers. I think that really is bad, because the truth is we're just going to choose a candidate. We're just going to choose someone to be member of parliament for the next 4 years. In fact, the people had already chosen one, and God, I mean, in Islam we say, they plan and we plan and we are the best of planners. So God knows best, and he has taken Ernest Kumi away. They're just supposed to go through the process, go queue, vote, and at the end of the day, we declare the results, and the winner is sent to parliament. I do not think we should have armed soldiers. We shouldn't even have soldiers, because soldiers by their nature maybe intimidate people. Now, the tactics of the IGP not to send armed policemen to Ablekuma North, we do not know what decision led to that or what thinking went into that, but we have seen that perhaps if they had weapons, they could have done more. Maybe we can decide that for every polling station, we should have police people with weapons, but they shouldn't be at the polling station. They could just be maybe, say, under a tree far away or by a classroom somewhere, while the unarmed ones, the immigration service people, the fire service people, would be there to just monitor the election. I don't know how many, in fact, over 100 polling stations. I don't know how many of them we can really send policemen to. But we should start thinking of it. There are places that we describe as hotspots or flashpoints. We could then consider putting them there. I think the IGP has started a lot of work in that area, because as way back as 2 weeks ago, they went there, they have deployed. As we speak, there are barricades on the streets. They have gone to do a simulation, to see if they can deal with any potential violence or anybody who is trying to commit a crime. It appears they are ready, but we can only test their readiness on election day. Collectively, we should all work together so that we have a peaceful election in Akwatia. Akwatia has a history. We do not want that history repeated. Akwatia by-election is one of the reference points when we talk about violence in our elections. We do not want to hear that again. We are praying that at the evening of Tuesday, when a candidate is declared the MP-elect, we should all celebrate and go home. Nobody should go to the hospital to go and check on a wounded member. Nobody should go to the police station or the prison to go and check who has been locked up. I think as a democracy, we are growing. And some of these things will show that we are matured. And honestly, we shouldn't even be discussing violence. So if the MPP is making the call that there should be no soldiers there, if you wanted to play the devil's advocate and the tit for tat, you say, well, you are the ones who did this before in 2020, and so you are running away from your own shadows. But I think we have gone past that. It's good they've made a call, and I'm not sure there will be soldiers there. If Richard Jakpa really went there with soldiers or a soldier, maybe a question should be asked. Was he on a different operation, or he was there specifically for election purposes? The police checkpoints have been stopping people and they have been collecting weapons. They've issued a statement announcing how many weapons they've seized so far, how many people they've arrested so far. I think we should see that affecting everybody, whether you're a governing party or an opposition party. I think we should all play by the book, and nobody should go there fomenting trouble. I'm happy that the police is taking the preemptive measures. We pray that it succeeds on election day. I mean, because everything we are doing is building up to Tuesday, and let's see how Tuesday comes. And we pray that Tuesday comes and meets us all alive, and the people of Akwatia will choose a candidate, just like you and I have gone to vote in our constituencies, and we have our MPs representing us. So that's what I would say on this issue of security. Now, Akwatia is one of 276 constituencies in the country. They are currently without a member of parliament. We are going to elect a member of parliament, or the people there are going to elect a member of parliament. But what has been the historical voting pattern of Akwatia? That is what we're going to look at. I interviewed Johnson Asidu Nketia, General Secretary, General Mosquito, also National Chairman of the NDC, on face-to-face last night, and he said the view is being expressed that Akwatia is an MPP seat. He disagrees, and that it is a swing seat. So we're going to test this claim of his, not necessarily because he said it, but just to help us all with education. So we're going to see who won when, how that person won, who was the person who won, up to the stage where we have got into. And that's what Fred is going to help us with. So Fred, take us through.
So, Sanda, like you said, General Mosquito yesterday in your interview says that the Akwatia constituency, it's a swing constituency. And from what we are going to show you now and what we are going to talk about, you'd realize that his position is what it is. So in 1992 wasn't competitive. That's because the MPP boycotted the elections after the presidential elections. At the time, the presidential elections was held separately from the parliamentary elections. And in the parliamentary elections, the NDC candidate, Gilbert Akwesi was the winner of that particular election. But you know, because it's not competitive, a lot of times people do not like to add 1992 to competitive elections in this particular country. Yeah. So really, our competitive elections started in 1996.
But the winner in 92 was
NDC. Gilbert Akwesi Eje.
So that's the first MP.
That's the first
since
MP
we
for
returned to
Akwatia
democracy
in 1992.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll come so we continue with the competitive. But I want to speak to one of the perhaps most popular names from Akwatia constituency. He was once a member of parliament, Alhaji Baba Jamal. Alhaji, you're welcome to Akwatia Watch.
Thank you very much, Sanda. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing well. I hope you yourself, you're doing well. It's been a long time.
Alhamdulillah, we are very okay. We are all in the service of our nation, so we are fine.
We thank God. I still remember your vetting when you were going for deputy minister position like yesterday. I remember when Oseche Mensah Bosu asked you what your ethnicity was, and you said you were half Fulani and half Moshi. I remember watching that vetting from the village. And
yes,
and when we started talking about Akwatia and the news emerged that Akwatia has a lot of non-accounts, I remember referencing that, well, their former MP, Baba Jamal, is half Fulani, half Moshi man. So talk to us about Akwatia constituency for people who want to know what the constituency was about before we talk about your role when you became an MP, why you didn't go back and all of those matters, please.
Okay, thank you very much. Talking about my lineage, Moshi Fulani, Amanda is also Fanti, Moshi, so I also am somehow Fanti, and then but an indigene of Akwatia because my grandparents, the Moshi, settled in Akwatia some 200 years ago, and for that matter have been part and parcel of the development of Akwatia. So when you come to Akwatia, there are a lot of Moshis, there are a lot of Kotokolis. In fact, giving you the statistics of the place, Akwatia is made up of 51% non-account. 51%.
Non-achim.
Non-accounts, yes. 22% is Ewe. Ewes form 22% of the area.
Okay.
And then 16.2 are the Zongo people, those who are settled in the various Zongos. And then others, when you put them together, in fact, Akans form 49.1% of the area. So this is the, demography of the Akwatia constituency. And when you come to places like Akwatia, Boedua, Akwatia is the biggest town, which controls close to about 22% of the entire vote. You add Boedua to it. Boedua has close to about 7,000 votes. And then, Boedua, for example, has less than 20% account. Yeah, the Zongos, the Evers, the Frafres, and other northern extraction people. So when you come to Akwatia, the demography and the dynamics of Akwatia is a bit different. That's why you see that the seat continue to swing, because the Akam population is largely MPP. The non-Akans are largely NDC. So anytime there is unity in the front of one, then they are likely to win the elections. Where you have division in front of the other party, then you are not going to have it easy. That party will definitely lose. And when you look at the history of Akwatia, from 1996, when we say we had competitive elections there, 1992 was NDC, but there was no competition. 1996, the competition was between NDC and MPP. NDC won overwhelmingly because that time there was that boom in diamonds, and a lot more in the non-indigens joined us in Akwatia. So NDC became the most popular party in Akwatia. Now, in 2000, but by the time 1996, some incident happened in Akwatia. When you ask any Akwatia person, they call it Wawa. Some 6 policemen were attacked in Akwatia and beaten, and even I think one died. I think one died. So the police and the military came with a combined force and attacked the people of Akwatia, and really arrested more than 2,000 people and brought them to Accra. So a lot of the non-indigens left the town. So when they left the town, the NDC majority came down very heavily. That was the one factor that reduced NDC's domination of Akwatia. The second factor was there's a town called Wenchi. Wenchi is about the 3rd largest town in Akwatia constituency. Akwatia constituency has, in fact, traditionally, has 5 dasibres. When we say dasibre, they are higher than just Nana or Chief. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Are you following me?
I'm following, Alaji.
Yes. When you come to Akwatia, we have 5 Osaberima and 1 dasibre. The Wenchi town, the Osaberima is above Berima. From Berima, you are from Nana, you go to Berima. From Berima, you go to Osaberima. From Osaberima, you go to Dasibre before Ochehene. So Akwatia alone has 5 Osaberimas. And so it tells you that the communities are a bit huge. And then we have one big Dasibre who is the next in terms of position to the Ochehene. That is the Dasibre in Wenchi. So Wenchi used to be NDC until 2000. Because that is the place where by then they have never had any MP from anywhere. Then one of them, Kingston Kisi, decided to contest. So the support from Wenchi for NDC went down to 0. And that was the year I contested. So I contested with Kisi. And because that place had close to about 4,000-5,000 votes, so the whole town turned. And that is the place where now, even where we used to have 3,000, 4,000 votes, we now were having less than 200, 300 votes. So it tells you that the whole town turned in favor of MPP.
The whole of the Wenchi town.
The whole of the Wenchi town. a very huge community.
Because the MPP's
all
candidate was from that constituency in this
was
2000.
from that place. And yes, in 2000. And this is a place where NDC was winning massively with differences of 3,000, 2,000 difference. But when the Kingston Kisi decided to contest from there, he was able to, because he was a powerful person in that town. So he turned around the votes from NDC to MPP. So now that is how come now the difference between the two parties became very close. And so Kingston came, he won in 2000, he won in 2004. And in 2008, that was when we had the 6 polling stations where there was that problem with the ballot boxes. And we went in for the 6 polling stations. And finally, eventually, Kofi Asare, the late Kofi Asare also won. Because Kofi Asare got, then people then decided that strategically they will pick all their candidates from Wenchi. So they picked Kingston Akume from Wenchi. They picked Dr. Kofi Asare after Kesi did 2 terms, and then Kofi Asare came and did 1 term. But I beat him in 2012 and became the MP with a very little margin of 571.
Wow.
That's how close the vote was. So when I won, then you see, like I was telling you, when there's confusion between any of the parties, the other one wins. So my party, we had some little leadership, executive problems where people were thinking that Baba Jama was not giving them the opportunity to do what they want. They thought that the monies I took from government, I should be sharing it instead of doing development projects with it. But I can proudly say that during my term, Akwatia saw monumental development, seriously. And when you go down there, you let your people do that investigation. So during my term that we had a district, Akwatia left Kedi and became a district, and then that district was called the Denchambo district. It was my time that we got a huge marketplace at Akwatia. We got all the roads done. We got a huge project, $165 million water project, where I personally worked on this E-block in Takrasi. We provided Wenchi with water. We provided Apinaman with water. We did more than 13 chip centers, over 11 block bridges. So generally, we saw a huge development during that time. Unfortunately, because of that confusion, the next election, I lost. And when I lost, then came in Amase. Then when Amase also became MP, she also had some internal problem with her people. And that is how she had a problem with the women organizer, national women organizer of the MPP. And so they also had their problem. And that is how come NDC also won, because when I lost, I decided that I would change constituency. I'm not coming to Akwatia again. So I moved to Ayawasu East. You understand?
Yes.
And then, so a new candidate came, which is the former MP, Henry Boachi, who is popularly known as Okoyo. So when Okoyo came, Okoyo had also was lucky because there was a confusion in the MPP. And then they decided to go and choose Ernest Kumi. So when they selected Ernest Kumi, now they lost the election very narrowly. Okoyo beat them with a difference of 1,157.
Because Amase and Eskumi were not working together.
We're not in good terms. Yes, we're not in good terms. Like I told you from the very beginning, anytime you have confusion in one of the parties, that party is likely. So that confusion also resulted in Eskumi losing. Then came 2024, when that confusion came between that time, I can say that there was both unity on both sides. NDC was united, MPP was united. So it was a very difficult election. And that problem came and it resulted in court. And finally, unfortunately, in Eskumi, we lost in Eskumi. So generally, this is the dynamics of Akwatia. Whoever knows Akwatia, this is the dynamics. Now, the interesting aspect of this game is that MPP at this time didn't select their candidate from Wenchi. They selected their candidate from the NDC stronghold, the strongest hold of NDC, which is Boedia. Boedia is where NDC sometimes can give MPP the difference of 3,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The difference. And it is the second biggest town in the whole constituency. Now, NDC, unfortunately, should I say, fortunately or unfortunately, selected the candidate from Takrasi, which is already a divided town between NDC and MPP.
Okay.
That place, always the difference is not too much between the two parties. So it is, I mean, if NDC wins that place, the difference is just always less than maybe 500. And then MPP also wins the place, the difference is also less than 500. So it is that type of town. But the only, I think that advantage the NDC has this time, and I'm speaking as somebody who is looking at the dynamics, openly, you understand?
Yes, yes.
Because NDC is in government, the psyche that, oh, your government is in power, and for that matter, you are likely to get more development if you vote for the NDC candidate is very high. Do you understand?
Yes.
That is very, very high.
Yeah.
And I think that has been the major trump card of the NDC while they go around to do their campaign. And I must also say that I am part of it because I'm also, of course, campaigning for our candidates. You understand? It's our trump card now. Now, when it comes to the MPP's main, now they have Wenchi in their bag because Wenchi now is totally MPP.
Yes.
So whether a candidate comes from there or not, they have Wenchi in their bag. And that's why they've placed the 1 week celebration of the MP very close to the election. So it's happening on this weekend. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's in Wenchi, and so you can see how the motions will be whipped up to make sure that people still, go the MPP way. Now, they have now going to pick a candidate from Boedia, which is very dangerous for Akwatia, for NDC. Because that is where NDC's strongest hold is. And that's why all of us are not even going to the villages. We are concentrating more in Boedia. Some of us who are more, because the Boedia place is more of Zongos and Evers and people of northern extraction. Their accounts are very few. In fact, they are concentrated in an area called a bomb. When you come there, that's the only place you find that. When you go to that particular polling station, 2 polling stations, NPP wins always that place. But the rest, NDC virtually wins the whole place. So NDC will have to do more in Boedia. Because if Boedia shifts even 10% or 20% from our vote, we are in trouble. So they have now gone to pick their candidate from Boedia, and they are doing everything because the candidate is also a royal from Boedia, a very rich miner who is known by everybody in there. So that is why it becomes dicey now and becomes difficult to predict because you are finding it difficult to know what will MPP do. How will Wenchi turn out? Wenchi, some of their voters are always outside and they come and vote.
During election period.
And that's why they place the funeral very close to the election so that when people come for the funeral, they won't go back and vote. And that's what I suspect.
So they will stay.
You understand? They will stay. Now, Boedia too, NDC have a lot of people who are outside. We should be able to bring those people to come to vote. We should be able to galvanize Boedia to a very large extent. If we are able to maintain our votes in Boedia, then I can assure you we can win this election. If we are able to maintain our numbers in Boedia.
Okay. So
yes.
I think you've explained this and it's beautiful, and you have given us first an impartial analysis and then you told us about your partial or your partiality, which has
Of
helped
course,
the
of course.
discussion. So we
Yes.
understand
Yes.
all the key issues at play. You are suggesting to us that MPP does well in Wenchi and is likely they may maintain that performance there. You have been doing well in Boedia. It is your prayer now that you do as well in Boedia so that the other adjoining villages would come with their regular votes. But looking at the tradition, 96 you won, 92 you won, and then you lost it again until 2012 when you came, and then 2020. It means that pound for pound, Akwatia is really, if you were to put it on a balance, more blue than it is green as a result of the mass exodus of 96 that you talked about.
No, I am inclined to agree with you because Akwatia is bluer than green. You understand? Akwatia generally, when you look at all the towns that I mentioned who have the Osaberemes, apart from Akwatia, which is the major town, and Boedia, which is also very close to Akwatia, virtually have the same characteristics. But Boedia is where our strongest hold is. When you go to other big towns like Ejunase, is totally MPP. Apenamine, totally MPP. Come to Topramine, totally maybe 80, 60% MPP. You go to Takoradi. Now, one of our hope as NDC is that Takoradi, having now gotten a candidate from there, will be able to give us more votes there. Do you understand? If they are also able to, go by their candidates and bring us more votes there, then that will also help our bid as NDC. Now you go to Wenchi is MPP, you go to Swabe MPP, you go to Kusi, very, very MPP. So most of the towns are MPP. And the only place, our places that we also control are the Camp, Estuboni, Anyasu, number 4. It is on one stretch. Then the Okumeni area where we have a lot of settlers, Fantis and Equiapim, and then on the rest. If we are able, and Kumeni is always with NDC. It's also another huge area. But unfortunately, the votes are smaller in the villages.
Okay.
The votes are smaller in the villages.
You've told us about the track record of the NPP candidate, a minor, their their current treasurer, and all of that. They selected him. The NPP selected him. They didn't elect him. Your party chose to do an election and not a selection. And when it came to it, the one who represented you once, he won for you in 2020 and has been challenging the 2024. He has lost that election to your party secretary. I don't know what you make of that dynamic, whether the fact that your former MP, who perhaps would be described as maybe more popular in recent times for you in the constituency, being replaced by your secretary, who may not be, I don't know. What do you make of that particular decision to go into an election and the outcome of the election and what that would mean on Tuesday?
Yes, if you ask me my candid opinion, I was not in support of any elections during any primaries. I was not in support. I thought that we should have maintained the status quo and go ahead to let the old candidates continue. But I think that other people thought otherwise. And we are in democracy, you understand? So the majority of the people will always carry the day, and so they carried the day. So now it is for us as NDC to work hard to confirm and consolidate a unity among our front. And I think that we are not doing badly in that direction. The two other candidates, Sanka and Okoyo, have always appeared on all platforms with our new candidate. And we are very hopeful that this positive signal sent to their various supporters will also inure to our benefit when it comes to the day of elections. So once the party decides to go for primaries, of course, your opinion, an individual's opinion does not matter again. You understand me? So now we have our candidates. So we have put that behind us. What we now want to do is to ensure that we are able to consolidate our front. And I think that we have seen a lot of positive sign in that direction. all the other candidates, wherever they go, wherever our candidate appears, they appear with him. We have seen some, positive collaboration among even the supporters of the various candidates, and that is giving us some hope. I can see some unity that gives us some hope for victory. And like I said, because we are in government, when you are in government, things are easier to handle. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because you can easily, bring people to whip people online, and also give people positive promises, and
you have goodwill on your side as well.
Yeah, when with the goodwill on our side, because we have a huge goodwill from John Mahama's administration, and I think that is because Akwatia, for example, has seen some. You see, when it comes to Akwatia generally, in terms of development, I can tell you that it tilts heavily on the side of NDC.
Okay.
I can say it is about 80-20%.
Very well. Very well.
Every major thing that has happened to Akwatia came from NDC. Talk about the district in the first place. Talk about water project in Akwatia, which covers Buedua, Topramai, all the way to Ahiaso. It covers about 1/3 of the constituency. Talk about roads. Talk about Wenji. Even when you go to Wenji, water, NDC gave them. Electricity, NDC gave them. So now when you even go, all the major towns, go to Adjunase, NDC gave them water. Takorasi, we gave them a secondary school that has turned the face of the town. And so in terms of fiscal development, NDC has done so well.
Very well.
All ahead of the MPP. And that will inure to the benefits of our candidate, because our candidate is also a lawyer by profession.
All right.
And of course, with him, and he's a very good speaker.
Okay.
Honestly, that is one of his strengths.
Very well.
Very good orator.
Okay.
And I think that with all this team put together, we are hopeful that there will be victory on Tuesday.
Wish you all the best, and thank you so much for speaking to us, sir.
We are great. I'm grateful to my listeners, and I'll say goodbye to you all.
That's Honorable Baba Jama, former MP for Akwatia, former Deputy Minister for Employment, and then also at a point Ministry of Information. He was MP for Akwatia, and then he left to the Nima area to run. He has been sharing some perspective that this is Akwatia Watch on Channel 1 Television and on 97.3 CTFM. We'll take a breather. We'll return to give you some other perspectives to the election historically as we try to shape the future.
In Ghana, West Africa, the mornings are somewhat, if not for the perfect companion. What a good day to start. Another day. It's always smiles knowing we are together. Ooh, what a feeling. Work is always effective with NASCO home appliances. No wahala, if the sun is up, we there for your appetite. Never a dull moment to go for something chill. Any jepa, I would NASCO fear. NASCO, bring home happiness.
Me pay so dear me jame. Sister me dad dear me chibia na me amshishimi. Akuna ida. Me many tell some me sakana me say. Me ida so te. Sika, se dia so demo. Hwe, juju so wo mo. Bag de ho dia. Me ba bi free. So what you say bag na ma. Mo na me hwehwe wo. Wow.
Sasa me nya kwanfo bi e na na mo sole o.
Hey!
Yeah, welcome back. This is Akwatia Watch on Channel 1 TV and on 97.3 CTFM. I am Umaru Sanda. But just gone by, we had an interview with Alhaji Baba Jama, former MP for the area, who has given us, well, he gave us two sides of the story. He gave us a very impartial analysis and then also give us his own partial analysis. Of course, he wants the NDC to win. He says he didn't think that they should have gone to the polls to elect a candidate like they did. Perhaps they should have either gone the way the NPP did, or maybe even settled on their old candidate who has been an MP before. But be that as it may, he's supporting the campaign and he's busy doing so. He has also told us the origin of the two candidates, how the NPP has chosen a candidate from the stronghold of the NDC, knowing that it already has its stronghold secured at Wenchi, and that may be a problem for the NDC. So based on what I have gathered from Baba Jama or Fred, he's essentially saying pound for pound, the NPP sort of has an upper hand because of their choice of candidate and all of that. But the NDC has a very good, NDC has goodwill now going for it. And again, as a constituency, you don't want to have an orphan as your MP. So that is a good thing that's going for the NDC. But if it comes to numbers, it appears that the NPP's decision to choose a candidate from their backyard is a potential blow.
Yes.
So they have to do a lot of work to recover.
Exactly. So from his analysis, it tells you that as you go into the election, the NPP is a step ahead of the NDC, basically because of two things. They elected or selected a candidate from the stronghold of the NDC. Already there's a town within the constituency which he says is largely NPP, Wenchi. So that's a secured area for the NPP. It comes to Bodia, where it's supposed to be the stronghold of the NDC. But this time what the NPP did was to get a candidate from there who's well known, who is rich, who's lived there, who is very popular.
Known by everybody.
Giving the NDC a difficult task. And what again did is the NPP doing? They are trying to play on the emotions of the people of the area by managing to organize the 1-week celebration of the death of the former MP, about 2 or 3 days before the election.
The weekend before the election.
The weekend before the election. What is that going to do? One, it's going to bring people into the constituency. So people who would have usually left the constituency and come in to vote during election time will now come back. During by-elections, we know that voter turnout is a bit low. So the strategy is, let's do this, get the people in. Whilst we are getting the people in, then we are also playing on the emotions, the sympathy the people will have on us, based on the fact that they are also reminding the people of the death of their MP, who is an NPP member.
So it's going to be an interesting one. So you get the emotions of the people, but then the NDC would also then, in going for the people's emotions, would say, listen, we are in power. If you want development, our person would be easier to lobby, or he will have it easier to lobby any of the ministers or even the president to bring us development. And so it appears that that's what they will be hammering on more. And again, Baba Jamal is excited about the unity within their party this time around, because it's disunity that causes any of the parties the election. But this time we don't have a disunity issue.
Why he's so excited about the unity issue is, one, you had a certain MP or a parliamentary candidate who went into an election, lost that particular election, went to court to go challenge the results of that election. In challenging the results of that election, he goes in for a lawyer who is the secretary of the constituency. At the same time, within the Bodia place, there's also another gentleman from there who's a bit popular, and I'm told has been asked a number of times to step aside for people to contest. So then an MP dies and you need to go and hold the primaries. You go for the primaries. One, the former MP and the parliamentary candidate shows up. It didn't end there. His lawyer, who has been representing him in court, who's also secretary of the constituency, shows up to run. Then the third gentleman, who has always been asked to step aside for people to contest, also comes to run. Usually after such an election, there's a difficult task of bringing people together. So if after this election, the people have been brought together and there seem to be peace and understanding amongst them, he should be happy as a party member. He also explains that, whilst you're when you're in government, some of these things become much easier for you. Where there's a lot of influence, there's a lot of promises which can be made and fulfilled, unlike when you're in opposition. So you are in power. 2 people show up, 3 people show up to contest an election. 1 wins, the other 2 lose. They are not happy. What do? Not many people receive a call from the president. The president can call you and say, look, don't worry. This is what we'll do for you. This is what we are going to give you in the meantime whilst you wait and support the party. So it is easier to bring the parties together. And that is what the NDC has managed to do. Thirdly, the NDC as it stands now with President John Mahama has a lot of goodwill in the public, amongst the public. So this goodwill is also accounting for members of the party saying, look, you just let it go. We can't lose that goodwill now through an election. So just let it go. So based on that, they're able to bring these 3 people together and come as a united front to contest a stronger candidate, which is the MPP candidate.
Fred, over the years, when we do election analysis, we rely on the history, we rely on the data and the statistics. It has always been accurate and correct until 2024. 2024, the election results defies data, defies statistics, defies history, defies everything. In fact, possibly even defies logic, because it's almost like a tsunami.
Yeah.
So I want us to still look at the historical track record of the constituency. 2024 may not be a proper election to use in judging how things go. But generally we could see a shape of an election based on the figures in the past. What are the figures in Akwatia looking like in the past? So he has told us NDC 192, 196, lost 2000, lost 2004, lost 2008, and then came back 2012, lost 2016, and came 2020. So we have that general picture. But how did they do in terms of
you realize
performance?
that the figures, when you take the figures and you look at his narration of the historical events in the constituency, the figures will tell you that exactly what he said is what it is.
Okay.
So let's start from 96. In 96, the NDC had a candidate called Mohamed Siam. He secured 17,900 as against Dr. Kwame Chebaf was I think Kwame had about 8,575. This was in 96.
So about half.
About half. And the margin was 9,325. And this has been the biggest margin in the constituency.
Okay. In 96?
In the 96 election, the margin between the NDC and the NPP, 9,325 has been the biggest. If you go through the election all the way to 2024. And you recall that he says in 96, the Wenchi issue hadn't come up.
Yeah.
No, in 96,
it came later, yes.
It hadn't come up. So the NDC was still very strong in 96. In 2000, you had Kingston Akomian Kisi, who later became Eastern Regional Chairman of the party for 2 terms.
Okay.
Kingston is the gentleman, he says, came from Wenchi. He is the one who turned Wenchi to be MPP.
In 2000.
In 2000. And won that particular election. So you realize that Kingston in that particular election had about 15,483 votes.
That was what Kisi got.
Kisi got.
Which is less than what the NDC person got in 97.
Which is less than what the NDC person got in 96.
Yeah.
96. Yeah. But far more than what the NPP candidate got in 96.
From 9,000 to 15,000.
About 8,000.
That's big.
To 15,000. Then the NDC draws from 17,000 to 12,803.
Wow.
The margin being about 2,680.
So a huge shift.
A huge shift. So Baba Jamal's history of getting somebody from Wenchi.
Yeah.
Now the figures
changing
back
the narrative.
You go to 2004. In 2004, that's when Baba Jamal himself appeared on the ballot, where he went against Kisi again. In 2004, Kisi had 17,159, as against Baba Jamal 16,087. The margin was about 1,072. Still Kisi from Winchi, putting the MPP and giving MPP a strong position within the Akwatia constituency. And I must say that Kingston Kisi has been the only candidate or only member of parliament who has served 2 terms.
Who has repeated this, okay. So 2000 and 2004.
2000 and 2004. In 2008, there was a change in candidates. So they came in Kofi Asare. Kofi Asare went against Baba Jamal. This election was where we had the first Ablekuma North incident.
Okay, a rerun.
A rerun, where some 6 polling stations had to be rerun. So in that particular election, after everything, the results had the MPP candidate winning with about 17,777.
So this is not Kisi, this is a new NPP candidate.
This is a new Kofi Asare.
Kofi Asare. So he won, and I think Baba Jamal said he's late now.
Yes, Kofi Asare is late.
So he won against Baba Jamal in 2008.
Yes, after the rerun. And you realize that the vote difference was about 617.
Okay. So the margin has closed.
The margin had closed. And in 2012, Baba Jamal comes again. So Baba Jamal has been there for 3 times, 2004, 2008, 2012. In 2012, Baba Jamal comes and wins this time with 19,811. As against Kofi Asare again, 19,517.
Wow, neck and neck. Repeat the figures.
19,811.
For NDC.
For NDC, which is Baba Jamal. As against Kofi Asare, MPP, 19,517. Vote difference, 294.
Wow.
And don't forget at the time, Kofi Asare was incumbent.
Incumbent MP.
Baba Jamal wins it. In 2016, it changes. That comes in your very good friends, Mercy, Edu, Jemfi, Amase. Amase comes and defeats Baba Jamal.
Hairdresser.
From
the town.
Very
popular.
Very popular. Married to a very rich man, also coming from Bodia.
Okay. NDC stronghold. So she comes in and then turns it around. Takes it away from Baba Jamal.
She beats Baba Jamal. She has 22,981. As against Baba Jamal, 17,453.
So Baba's vote dropped.
Margin, 5,528. That has been the biggest margin for the MPP.
Since 96.
Since 96.
Then 2020.
You have Henry Boache Yadom. As Baba Jamal explained in his history, there was a big issue within the MPP where the government went against the MP at the time. What happens? The NDC candidate now wins narrowly. He has 19,899 as against Amase's 18,742. 1,157 margin. That's the difference between the two of them.
Wow. And then we come to 2024.
In 2024, MPP wins again with Henry Boache Ns Yakumi, who beats the incumbent, Boache Yadom, 19,269, Boache Yadom, 17,206, vote margin 2,063.
Which was contested until his death.
And
now we wait to see what happens on Tuesday, September 2, when people of Akwatia go again. They have a history of swinging. I want to see which way they are going to swing again, the pendulum of Akwatia. But this is Akwatia Watch on 97.3 CTFM and on Channel 1 Television. We'll be bringing you another show tomorrow at 3 p.m. I am Umaru Sanda. I did this with Fred Tetejabon, and we had Baba Jamal on the line speaking to us. Please stay with us because everything you need to know about Akwatia is on Akwatia Watch on Channel 1 TV and CTFM.